Hello, and welcome to another episode with yours truly. So, I'm actually re recording this. I was midway through the episode and I felt like I was rambling. And so I ended the recording and I just heard Spirit yelling at me, "Oh my God, what were you doing?" Well, they didn't say, "Oh my God," but they said, "What were you doing? We're so mad." I never heard that yell happen before ever. So, however this comes out, that's how it's coming out. And so my voice is a bit hoarse. I am getting over a cold. So here we go. I am not re-recording this. Whatever happens, happens. Oh my gosh. Like it was really crazy. I just heard, "We are so mad at you. I can't believe you were doing just fine." You know what it is too? Sometimes I had this conversation with my best friend. Sometimes we sound different in our minds than when we actually talk. And when I feel like I'm rambling, people tell me, "No, no, you're fine." Or if I just feel like I've been talking for too long, just no, people have just been loving what I'm saying and they just want to hear more. And I'm thinking, do you want to talk? I don't want to, take over anything. So let's just get to it. All right. So I'm not rambling, at least whatever. We're just going to get to it. So this is the first episode of December, the first episode after the holidays, and one of the last episodes of this year. A lot of endings and beginnings, if you will, or new and wrapping up things. And it's quite interesting. I like looking at things like that. And I just want to briefly talk about my holiday because it was the first time I traveled for the holidays and it was pretty exciting. I went to visit my best friend. I was invited up there, and her sister was hosting Thanksgiving in Connecticut. And it was just so much fun. We went Black Friday shopping at 11 p.m. at night, which I absolutely love because no one was there. And I found these sexy boots. So, this is what I did not say in the previous episode. I found, oh, these boots are so sexy. They have chains on them and little rhinestones. It's like, okay, okay, Tia. It's very hard for me to find nice boots that work for me. I went to a hockey game and I was just yelling, "Yeah, ref, let them fight." Let them fight, ref. I love it. I love all that. I just had a blast. And so it was about 5 days, maybe a little bit more. And so I came home and, I was feeling just okay. I was coughing a little bit and I figured, well, the air is colder, I'm going to cough. Then I got sick. And it's funny because I was going to get my nails done. I'm just like, oh, yeah, I'm going to, thinking of colors. So I'm trying really hard not to talk with my hands because my nails are in dire need to get done. I couldn't. I was just sneezing all over the place, and that's not cool to go to a nail salon and do that. That's just too much. So they will be done this week. Um, so I was drinking black tea a lot. I was just staying hydrated. I slept a lot. I was steaming my face to keep my nostrils, clear. Because I'm someone who goes to visit the doctor as a last resort. I will do everything in my power, my due diligence to take care of myself. I even took the at-home COVID test just in case. Everyone who I was around, they told me, they took the COVID test, they took the flu, got a flu test, and it's a cold. Everyone that I knew came back from Thanksgiving weekend sick. So meanwhile, I was low-key stressing because my voice just wasn't there and I just wasn't feeling up to sitting up and recording. And I need to get these done, make these deliverables for my project manager so she can get them scheduled for the rest of the month and we can all enjoy the holiday season without any issues, especially because with technology, you never know what might happen. Like with an episode, I believe it was back in October, where I recorded an hour-long episode and the audio was not there. And there was no indication that the audio was not there, which was even crazier because technology. So I really didn't know what I was going to talk about for this episode. I focus on doing what is it called? Not block, but like bulk planning for my podcast, where I just have several episodes done, recorded, but also I don't do it so much so that it's so far in advance that I don't have any updates for you. I also like to give you nice little life updates and talk about some relevant things. So I was really stressing, what am I going to talk about? And while I was meditating, I heard, I'm looking at my notes here, portal to expansion. And I thought, really, that's the byline for Enchantress Becoming, which I will talk about my upcoming new mastermind. I talked about that in a previous episode, but I didn't really talk about the portal to expansion. And I thought, okay, let's dive into this, because we are expanding in many ways, collectively and personally. And far as portal goes, I'm going to break down portal and expansion, the words. We are going through a portal, leaving 2022, stepping into 2023, among other things. So I thought this would be a really good topic to discuss as we are about to usher in the new year and so much more. I even pulled an oracle card too, because I really, again, was stuck. And the oracle card that came up was very fitting. Also, in some of my meditations as of recently, the goddesses have been telling me, you don't need us. and here, actually, hold on. I have the whole thing here. You don't need us. We are your sisters. You don't need to pray to us. And that's true. I don't need to pray to goddesses, but I use that as a form of connection, a form of learning, and so much more. And as I've said many times, when we work with crystals, oracle cards, just pretty much anything, that's an extra, that's a bonus. It's great for visual aid and, so much more. But remember what you bring to all this. Remember your power. Remember that you are gods, goddesses, and all that too. There's so much within you. And it just needs to be uncovered and nurtured and used. And, so all those spiritual muscles get strong. And so I still work with the goddesses, but that was a reminder, not saying that I was looking to them like, oh, I need, but it was more of a passing along the message and a reminder that as we grow and expand, we need to have ourselves in mind first. Okay. And when we look to connect with beings, it's for assistance, it's for guidance. Okay. But we make the final decisions. It's on us. And I'm going to dive more into that as we expand, because the more we dive into spirituality, the more we learn about our own power. And when we learn about our own power, now we learn that we have the ability to command things in our life. We have the ability to visualize, to bring that forth, to be proactive, to make that a reality, to work with the energies around us to make that new reality for ourselves. And it's so important. So that was a nice heads up. And I love that, because many times people ask me, how do I know if I'm working with XYZ deity, things like that. And I tell them to read up about whoever you want to connect with as much as possible, get to understand that. And those goddesses or whoever you're working with, they're not going to direct you to do anything harmful or bad. Okay. They're there to help. And once that's understood, now there's that level of trusting yourself even more, because you know who you're working with. And for that to come through, like, hey, you're our sister. Okay. Not, oh, if you don't do this, then, some horrible thing is going to happen to you. No fear tactics. So this card I have here is the Dragon's Duel, and my voice is still hoarse from this cold, so bear with me. Inner conflict, morality, conscious choice. So what I love about this card is that I didn't have an inner conflict, but I was really unsure what to talk about because there are so many things to talk about. And I want to make sure that I'm going in the right direction with this, not right for right's sake, but right meaning this is the path, this is the course now. And to make those conscious decisions and to make sure that, of course, the moral standing part, it's easy to want to talk about certain things that I think will be, oh yeah, this is going to make everyone click and listen. No, I'm not here for everyone. I'm here for certain people. I'm not here to get all the clicks. I'm here to get all the clicks from certain people. Okay, that makes sense. So I put a lot of thought into the topics of the podcast and making these conscious choices to move forward in that direction. So I want you to set an intention for this episode for yourself. But this dragon's duel, and this card is always face up, is never in reverse. Think about this was it pull and tug you have with yourself. Think about some of the things that you're looking to let go, some of the things that maybe you don't think about letting go that you may have to let go. Think about these conscious decisions that need to be made. What's something that you feel like you're going to stopping? Where is that happening in your life? So as we go through this episode, think about that expansion and how that pull and tug is stopping at. And those are the very areas that I would like for you to focus on so we can get you unstuck and expand. So let's take a deep breath. I need it. Excuse me. All right, here we go. Deep breath. Deep, 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 deep. Hold it and release. All right. So, portal to expansion. Thinking about what you want to expand in your life and how do you want to go about that. That's what we're going to be diving into. So let's talk about this portal to expansion. It's a time to dive into mystery. It really is. It's a time to dive into mystery. Many people get afraid of the unknown, and I get it. Here's the thing. So many things are unknown. Start looking at yourself as an explorer. Your job was unknown at one point, even if you read a description about it, right? You can read a description about a course, and there are still parts unknown. This is why many people like myself focus a lot on that know, like, trust factor, showing up, sharing parts of ourselves, being authentic, being relatable, right? Also because we care, however, those things do play a role in that connectivity. So if we aren't showing up, if we aren't doing these things, then it will remain unknown. So when that fear comes up, start breaking it down. Well, what were the other unknowns in my life? The person who you are with, they were once an unknown, but you took the chance to get to know them. And it's so interesting. Many times, some people are okay with going into the unknown of so many other things. But when it comes to personal growth, they don't want to spend time with their thoughts. They don't want to do certain things. And they're only sabotaging themselves. Oh, I don't know. Well, you didn't know about all these other things, but you did that. Okay, so let's get into the habit of pouring more into ourselves, believing and trusting more in ourselves, and listening to ourselves and giving ourselves that chance So at a certain point, you just have to trust yourself and just do it. Adapt as you go along. You're not going to know everything. All right. You have to have that sense of checking in with yourself. Check in and say, does this feel right? Does this resonate with me? How can I learn more about this person if it's a course you want to invest in or a doctor who you want to go to? I had a friend who was looking up doctors and he came across a talk that the doctor did, the surgeon did, and that helped him to make his choice. Sometimes all you got to do is a little research. So ask yourself this. What is it that I am truly worried about, truly afraid of? Because many times it's not that, it's the outcome. It's not the course, it's not the doctor, it's not the mentor, it's the outcome. Some people who I talk to, they become fearful of the people who may get left behind because they're growing. You know, if I do this, what about that person? What will people think? And so much more. And you have to remember who you are on this planet for. You're for yourself. And that may sound a bit selfish. However, it starts with you. It starts with you. So if you are the example, imagine how that helps other people around you. Imagine how that helps yourself going forward. And you adapt as you go along. One of the things my pop told me growing up is to always be adaptable. And this isn't about contorting yourself all different ways to fit in, all right, to make other people happy. No, it's about understanding your environment and working within that, and then eventually capitalizing off of it. So if you are looking for that promotion, career, whatever it is, you get it, right? You're a little bit nervous, but you did it. Now what? Well, now you are a supervisor, and now you have to learn more about that role so you can fully step into that role, because it was activated when you did your resume, or updated your resume, when you applied for the job, when maybe you did a mock interview with a friend, you showed up for the job. For the interview. Now it's up to those who hire you, right? Is leaving that room for the thing that you can't control. Just like with spirit, you do all the things you're supposed to do, and then some things are out of your hand. It's that little mystery part. And it's that mystery part that trips people up sometimes. So now you're a supervisor and there's still some unknowns, but you activate it, and now you walk through that portal because you accepted being a supervisor, and you adapt as you learn and grow. Do that for yourself on every level. So let's look at the words portal and expansion. Portal is a gateway, an exit, and an entrance. So it's an ending and a beginning. We walk through portals every day, our doors. When you walk into a building, whether it's a hospital, a school, whatever it is, that's a different environment, and you're focusing on that environment. If you're at school, you are focusing on school. Okay. That's what you are. What you left everything outside so you can be locked in and focus on the task at hand in class. Right? With expansion, is to become larger. You're taking up space. So what I tell people is focus on your posture, right? Have your coffee mug there, put your notepad down, put your energy out there, take up space. And if you're somewhere where you feel stuck, like you're in a box, Now it's time to move on because you're the biggest fish in that small pond. And now it's time to go to another pond. It's time to expand. You maxed out at that level. You can't make certain things work anymore. And that's when we become restless and over it and so forth. So we need to expand. We need to step through these portals. The portal of 2022 to 2023. Whether we want it to happen or not, that's what's going down. Seasons. We are in the final weeks of fall, and now we're about to enter winter. What does that mean? So we're going to dive more into this. So with that knowing of the portal, we're leaving something, we're stepping into something else, and we're going to take up space. We're going to make ourselves known to many more situations, people, opportunities, and so forth. So we are leaving the old to enter the new, where we can become larger, commanding, and making our presence known. Going back to the goddesses. When we are being commanding, it's not, oh, I wish I can just hit the lotto. And then you don't do anything about it. Sure, you can buy a ticket. But remember, words like lotto, the lottery, they only get known for that one definition and things that are associated with that. You can hit the lotto and use it as, oh, I'm a winner. It feels like I hit the lottery. I'm doing so well. I am so fortunate. What do you attach fortunate to, winning to? I hear Lady Luck. I hear, again, I feel like I hit the Powerball, right? All these things. But you have to go out there and be proactive. So with the goddesses, what they're saying is, hey, you don't have to look to us to grant you anything. It's on you. You call that from the universe. You command that. You call that into your life because you have the power to do so. Because we're all gods and goddesses, walking around here. We just got to work on our abilities, stripping that muscle and be willing to learn and be open-minded. So when that happens, when we focus on being commanding, it goes back to how we carry ourselves. Okay. Believing in ourselves, understanding what we can do because we can do it. So it's being an alchemist. All right. So what does that mean? Part of it has to do with working with the energies that are already around us. As I was saying, we are in the last few weeks of fall. And fall had, the energy of it had a lot to do with reaping what we have sown for the previous months. Celebrating the changes, honoring that it's going to become darker more and have more light. And if you're on the opposite side of the world, just you take what I'm saying and flip it. So with winter has a lot to do with reflection, going inward. And I'm getting a picture of a bear walking into the cave. So this is a time to go into your own personal cave and to ask yourself questions like, what do I really want? Have you checked in with your purpose or purposes to really understand that? Where do you want to expand in your life? And using this energy, which we are already witnessing because, excuse me, people are already eating more soup, bundling up. We have the holiday themed drinks and food is already here. The energy is already here. We can already feel it. Just like with spring, we always feel that sense of newness, that sense of, new beginnings and freshness. We feel that. So during this time, you can't rush certain things. This is a period of slowing down. And while there are many periods of slowing down, like with Mercury retrograde or even doing a new moon, this is over a course of several months. So how can you slow down a little bit, zoom out to understand where do you need to expand in your life? What portals do you need to walk through in your life where you are closing a door to one thing and opening a door to another? So this means that you can write about it, talk about it, go to a therapist. You could still work with goddesses, have that conversation with them. Just like we are stepping into the new year. And I'm not saying to come up with New Year's resolution. I did a blog years ago about how it's a waste of time. And I would say to even entertain it, I mean, okay, it's cute, it's funny. However, remember, the words we say matter. We have 75 trillion cells at our command, just waiting for us to give the orders. So if we say things like, oh yeah, my New Year's resolution is to, lose weight, and it doesn't have a strong foundation, right? And you're saying that because it's trendy, and, not knocking the gyms, they're using their business plan. There's nothing wrong with that. They understand the psychology of people. They know that. So you figure, oh, I'm just going to do this, 6-week gym membership, but you're not committed to it. That's the thing. So to understand this time of the year where, especially towards the middle of December, people are already checked out. They want to celebrate the holidays. They want to be with their loved ones. They want to drink hot cocoa with the marshmallows. And if you're on the other side of the world where it's summer, you want to go, wow, you want to, wear your sundress or like your fun clothes, and you want to go do things, I get it. So understanding the psychology of people, yourself, and the energy of what's going on is what's going to help you expand. That's part of what it looks like. And these are some of the very things I dive into in Enchantress Becoming. So to work with the energy that is already there will help you to propel your expansion process, which is already happening anyway, right? So this also includes understanding what the cosmos are doing. Now, this isn't about trying to figure out every single thing the planets are doing and the asteroids are doing and the moons are doing. This is about at least getting the gist of it. Following those astrologers who are really good at explaining things and helping you. And then anything that sticks out to you the most, learn more about that. For example, for me, it's the Mars retrograde for several reasons. One is that there's a lot of fire in my chart. Mars is a fiery element, or the planet of Mars element is associated with fire. And it is in retrograde in Gemini. Gemini is my rising sign. So it would behoove me to understand this, right? And my communication skills, I'm always talking with people, doing these things. So it's important to know these things and understand, hey, this time I may want to double check how I'm talking, or if maybe I'm not talking enough. For you, it may be that the way you are direct with people or the way you want to get things done is just not landing, because maybe the words need to be switched up. And it's not saying that you have to coddle people or water down what you're saying. It's just that some words work better with some people. It's just like if you were someone who's been studying spirituality for 3 years and you know a lot, and someone comes to you looking for some guidance, you're probably not going to just throw this terminology and all these other things at them. You're most likely going to start off with asking them, well, what do you want to know about specifically? And then you will gradually take them, along that mini journey, however long your conversation is, explaining things to them, but you're not going to give them like some high level thing without at least talking about some of the basic level things, because they're just starting out. All right. It's just like with school, it's a gradual process, right? So really begin to think about that, working with the energies that are already there, understanding your environment, what's your work environment like, and how can you navigate through that? How can you navigate through relationships? understanding that environment, the roles of people, the roles of people in your life. Okay. This will help you to trust people to be who they are. All right. To understand it, because you already know, because you've been working with these energies, you've been understanding the playing field. And you're not going to fall into traps like, oh, I'm going to make a New Year's resolution. Ha ha. So next is the fear of the unknown, and just that general fear. And you can overcome this by taking that leap of faith, by taking those calculated risks. Because here's the thing. Fear pops up a lot when it comes, when people work with me, and how they can expand, because many times people want to take people with them. And I get that, they don't want to leave anyone behind, or they worry about how, Aunt so-and-so is going to look at them, whatever the case may be. And when you compound that with the unknown, oh, I want to get to my next level. So, but I don't know. That can create a scenario for people to not push forward, because it just seems like it's too much. Like, is it really worth it? The thing is, it is. It's more than worth it, because there are the things that you do in which you will see immediate results. And then there will be the things that you can't even begin to imagine, but you'll be more than happy that you continued in your process. And the people who are for you will be happy for you. Of course, it will be bittersweet if you leave your job for a better position, or you move because for whatever reason, a better offer in another city, whatever the case may be. Those people will find a way to keep in contact with you. Okay. They want you to live your best life. And that's what we need to look at. If we are constantly looking at, oh, I don't know, oh, XYZ fear, that's just going to be you self-sabotaging yourself, and you never getting to where you want to be in life. Meanwhile, those other people, some of them are happy where they're at, and they just don't want anyone to do better than them. And others, they aren't happy and they don't want anyone to do better than them. So you really have to make these determinations for yourself and how much you want to expand. Because as long as you keep going, you're only going to do right by yourself. And when you do right by yourself, that's a trickle down effect. Your children are going to see it. The people who want you to succeed are going to see it. People who have been admiring you from afar, and don't think that people aren't. Trust me. All right. They're going to see that, and they're going to love that. And most importantly, you're going to be so proud of yourself. You're going to be happy that you did it. Taking those calculated risks really involves you doing a lot of proaction. So when you have done everything you could possibly do, putting so much good things out there, and finally opportunity knocks at the door, will you open it and step through that portal? Because here's the thing, for some people, it's a hell yes, right? And for others, sometimes people get glorified for the struggle, for the hustle. And it's easy to get stuck there because of that praise. And at the same time, it's a certain level of comfortability, because you know a lot of the playing field in the struggle and the hustle. And once you start to achieve more, it requires a next level you. And that's where some people become jealous, right? It's all nice and fun when you are working towards something, because they feel like you're either below them or at the same level. And like, oh yeah, they got a little something going on. But when you go for it, that doesn't sit right with some people, and you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with that. So that calculated risk, You have to go on that leap of faith because a lot of things were unknown. A lot of things were scary until they weren't, but you have to go on that journey. To have all the answers right away for some people means that they won't do certain things. They may say, oh, I have to do all that to get that. Oh man, I don't know. Or they get all the answers and they think they don't have to do certain things because it's coming. No. You still have to show up. And then you just self-sabotage yourself. So don't dismiss the process of expansion. All right. So that's what it means. That's working with the energies around you, expanding, understanding, okay, the things that you want and going for it. And looking at fear in its face and saying, look, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm here to stay. So we're going to have to become friends. You can feel that fear and still work through it. Okay. And sometimes that leap of faith, there will be times where you think, what on earth? Because you're going to unlearn a lot of things. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. There are going to be times where you learn the truth about things and you feel like you've been lied to, and you have. It's all programming. So once you learn that, it's okay, because now you have the tools, the knowledge to expand in the way that's truly meant for you, not how someone else wants you to grow, which is really only growing to a certain extent, right? When you grow, when you allow yourself to grow, it's unlimited. So what does it look like? The baseline of that is, as I was saying, you're going to have those moments of what? And then you're going to develop confidence. Then you're going to develop boundaries. Then you're going to develop a sense of awareness. You're going to be that calm in the chaos. I was having a conversation with my students in the Goddess Mastery course, which is wrapping up. This is the last week. And we were talking about our holiday, and one of my students was just, telling her story, and, she did not partake in some of the things that were considered, typical things that you're supposed to do during the holidays. She just didn't do it. And it just made me think, you are the calm in the chaos. You didn't give in, you did what was right for you. And that's just so important, especially during the holiday season where it's accepted to do certain things, but you're just harming yourself. And this isn't with her, but I'm just giving examples. When people don't want to be single for the holidays, so they hook up with their ex. Why would you do that? So what if you're single for the holidays? Toxic relationships are never cute. It's not, so that's not helpful. Overeating. Oh, I ate so much. Oh my gosh. Can it happen by mistake because the food is so good? Sure. Yeah. But that shouldn't be the protocol. Okay. Things like that, overspending because, we want to make everyone happy. Do they appreciate the gifts? Think about these things. So start calling back our power and understanding. I don't have to get everyone a gift. They don't appreciate it. They don't like it. Okay. I don't have to overeat. I don't have to eat every single thing. I don't have to hook up with someone just so I won't be lonely. You're still going to be lonely. That person does not care about your feelings. You're probably going to be lonelier, if anything else. So breaking those cycles and allowing yourself to expand is what you want to do. So the baseline is what we know. The confidence that's going to be built upon, the boundaries, okay, having that self-awareness. And then there are the things that we couldn't begin to imagine. Okay, there are people who we are going to meet that we would not have fathomed, because again, when we're at a certain point in our journey and we're working through that, yeah, we're using our imagination and so forth, but spirit has so much more for us. As long as we keep going, it's going to work out. It's going to be greater than we can ever imagine, but we have to keep going. So when that fear of the unknown comes up, you got to look at it, address it, and know that, hey, yeah, it is a bit of an unknown, but so what? That's part of the journey. That's part of the journey. And I'm not going to not do something because I don't know. You can do the research and understand up to a certain point, but how many more questions are you going to ask before you press the button? You got to start to trust yourself and check in with yourself and make sure that's right for you. You don't have to ask him and her and all these other people and get all this up. Sure, get advice. Sure, of course. But don't make that the end all. Don't make that the sole reason why you do something. Take it into consideration, but don't give away your power. And that's what leads me to the Enchantress Becoming. One of the things that I dive into, and what does it look like, going back to that activation, is the first month we talk about, I lead you through a guided meditation to call in your higher self. What does that person look like? Let's start formulating that and taking steps to live up to that person and make that person a reality, because that person is a reality. We got to call it into the here and now. Just like right now, I am the future version of me from 10 years ago, 10 years ago. I didn't think back in, I don't know, let's say 2014, that I would walk around with purple hair, but I love it. This is me, is part of my identity now. That doesn't mean that I don't love my naturally brown hair. Of course not. I love my hair. I just also love this purple hair. That's all. That's it. Don't hate a single part of me. Not at all. I just love this. That's it. Right? So we got to think about these things. I'm just going to talk a little bit more about this. Excuse me, mastermind. So Enchantress Becoming, month 1 is all about the activation. And this is where we are going to be working through what's holding you back, clarifying who you are and defining the next level you. This is why the first group ritual, which is held via Zoom, you don't have to turn on your camera, is all about initiating that next level you. So we talk about self-sabotage, imposter syndrome, and the modules for this month 1 include personal branding and cellular work. That's part of expansion as well. Talking to our bodies, all right, directing our bodies, ourselves, and really having that relationship with ourselves. So we are aligned, so we are connected. All right. So when someone does give us advice, we know what's true. Okay. We know where they're coming from. We have a better sense, a better awareness. All right. So when you do that, now you know even more of who you are. And expansion gets that boost. When we know who we are, we know where to expand. We know how far and deep to go. And month 2 is all about that multi-level healing. So you will learn and receive multi-level healing. I'm certified in several spiritual healing practices. So we are going to work with the nervous system, the 13 chakras, breath work, dream work, because when we are expanding, it's not just one aspect, okay? And it's not all things at one time. Many times my dreams are dress rehearsals for so many things in my waking life. My dreams are heads up for many things. And to be able to pay attention to that is so helpful. So imagine while you're expanding in your life and you're a little bit at a crossroads, you think, you know what, I need a nap. I need to take a break. Or you're just relaxing, you fall asleep, you get a dream. Doesn't make 100% sense to you, but you just write some things down. And with this course, you will begin to remember your dreams. And things start to make sense. And now you receive certain messages and other things that will help you to navigate through the expansion process. It's beautiful because it's there to help you. Your dreams are there for you. Okay. And then finally, the third month is all about frequency. So we're shifting your frequencies so you can fully step into and continue to step into the new you and expand areas in your life. So this is open for 10 people because this is going to be high touch. You're going to be working with me even closely. One-on-one initial 60-minute call to see where you're at, where you're looking to go. And then we're going to have end of the month call recaps. And this is for 3 months. And we're going to have 9 bi-weekly group calls, Voxer communication. So whenever I receive a message, I feel compelled to share, or I'll do like an oracle card reading and I put it in there. There'll be pop-up times you can ask me questions and so forth with that Voxer. The monthly group rituals, journal prompts, video training, and resource library. All right, so this is going to be a very candid, non-judgmental space for you to be open, vulnerable, seen, and heard. This is the support system for you, strategies to help you long-term, healing, transformations, connecting with your higher self, uncovering energetic blocks, and of course, energetic and frequency shifts. Okay, so you can learn more, catch that early bird special. The early bird ends on the 9th, so this Friday, which you can enroll, and that's at tiamariejohnson.com /Enchantress Becoming. So I'll put that in the description for this episode. And so the early bird, the 1 month investment is $2,400 and the 12-month investment is $200. So we begin in February, but do not wait because this launch will be closing soon. And then we're going to enjoy the holidays and come back and get ready. All right, so that's the Enchantress Becoming. And of course, if you have any questions, you can send me an email. So that's what it looks like. When we are expanding, we're going through these multi-level things: healing, transformation, frequency shifts. And while it may sound like a lot, it may sound overwhelming, it all happens in increments. It's a step-by-step process. This is one of the reasons why I'm only opening the Enchantress Becoming for just 10 people, because I'm going to be leading you through this process. Okay. And then you also get to define what it looks like for you. Okay. So as you're going through this expansion process, you may not eat certain things. You may start to change how you dress. You may start to change the things that you do, the places you go. And yes, that sounds a little bit scary. Oh my gosh, but that's my spot. This is what I love to eat. You're not going to miss that. I am telling you. Okay. Yes, you're going to reflect like, oh, remember back in the day, that little store we used to get that little, treat. Sure, of course. But when you come so far, it's not going to be that big of a deal. It's going to be a moment that you reflect and you understand, yeah, it had its time. And that's what it is. It had its time. But I'm in a much better position now, and I would not give that up for anything. It's like when some people romanticize the past, but they forget about all the other things. Like there are moments in time that were great, but there were also not so great moments in time. So that's what needs to be remembered so that no one slips back. Because it's easy to say, oh, well, it was so simpler back then and blah, blah, blah. Sure, of course, but you didn't know back then what you know now. So was it really that simple? Maybe, but it came at a cost. So really begin to think what expansion looks like for you. What's the lifestyle you want to lead? And we're going to get into more questions. This is my style of teaching as well. I just don't say 1 + 1 is 2. One of what? Could it be 1 pair of shoes, another pair of shoes? Yeah, you have 2 pairs of shoes, but you have 4 shoes altogether. And what if 1 breaks? There's just so much more you can go down that rabbit hole with, right? Or I say, well, to get to 2, 1 + 1. And someone can say, well, or you can do 3 - 1. right? There's more than one way to handle things, to get to a certain spot, to look at certain things. So expanding also has to be aligned with your visions. What do you visualize for yourself? What do you visualize for the people who you hang around? What are they doing? Are they connecting you with different people in situations? How is that playing out for you? Because if you don't have that sense of visualization, imagination, awareness, if it's not backed by your purpose and other things, you're just expanding, but not knowing your direction. So you need your North Star, if you will. And that goes with back to understanding who you are, understanding what you want. And we have to ask these questions. This is why my process for teaching involves conversation, questions, applications, and of course, step-by-step things, but it's very thought-provoking because that's what's needed. I'm not here to tell you this is how you do it. If you don't do it that way, then I don't know what to tell you because this is how you do it. No, that's ridiculous. All right. So where to begin? I mean, of course, you can enroll in the Enchantress Becoming. All right. I'm definitely going to put that out there. Focus on your visions. And this is a combination of the visions that spirit has been giving you and what you have a vision of for your future, how you truly want to live your life. Okay. And again, it may be that you've been in a certain groove in your life for so many years that the thought of shaking it up to get to the next level is too much. What I say to that is spend some time with yourself and ask yourself if you are truly happy, if you are having fun, if you are learning. Do you feel nurtured, secure? Are you feeling like you can be vulnerable in certain situations with certain people? Do you feel the love? If not, then it's time to reevaluate certain things. Okay? So your visions, what has spirit been giving you? Because it's your vision. It's not for anyone else to understand. It's your vision. That's where you can begin. Next is, what is your purpose or purposes? Same thing with vision or visions. You can have more than one purpose, and your purpose doesn't always have to deal with making a boatload of money, doing all these things. One of your purposes can be making a lot of money. Like, yeah, definitely make the money. And you can have another purpose where maybe you volunteer as a coach, an assistant coach, volunteer at a center, right? And that's so fulfilling to you. Or maybe you have a band and you guys, a cover band and you play, songs that you just love from your young adult lives and you play at a couple of venues, in your area. And it's just so much fun. It's so fulfilling for you. You're expanding that way too. What roles are you playing in your life? What roles are you playing in your life? And are you the writer or the actor? Because here's the thing. Overall, you should be the writer more than anything. So in life, you will be the writer, the producer, the actor, everybody, right? But when you are not writing your legacy, when you're not writing your own narrative, when you are giving away your power and having people tell you what you should do, how you should think, and all that, the role that you're taking on in your life is not the role that you should be taking on. You're waiting for that direction of what you should be doing, as opposed to taking things in your own hand. Now, that doesn't mean that at certain times you won't be in that position, because let's say, for example, you go to a mentor and your mentor says, do XYZ, or your doctor says, do XYZ. Yeah, of course. What I'm saying is overall, who's writing your story? Who are you listening to? Are you listening to your inner self? Are you listening to spirit? Or are you listening to all these external things about how you should look, dress, speak, talk, walk, all these other things? Right? The happiest people I know are the people who got to the point of, I don't give a crap about all that external things. I value the people who I value, love, and respect. I value their advice. I value what they think. However, I still focus on me. I know what's best for me. I know what I need to do. And when you do that, everyone wins. So make sure you are showing up for yourself. Make sure you are playing the right roles in your own life. Okay? So yeah, definitely you should have main character energy, but you should also be the director, the writer, the producer, and everybody else. And overall, you need to be writing your own story. Finally, what are you willing to let go? What are you willing to let go? As you step in this portal of expansion, you're going to have to let go of certain things, even things that have been comfortable for you, that aren't really bad, but its time is over. It's done. That's it. Everything doesn't have to end on a bad note. Everything doesn't have to be this, oh man, let me tell you, no, it doesn't. It can be, that was my time there, and that's it. I maxed out. I'm leaving on a high note. It was good for me. Now I need to go elsewhere. I need to expand and grow elsewhere. I need to create over here because I did that over there. Because also what happens is when we get too comfortable with things that aren't bad, when we are meant to expand, and we all know when we are meant to expand, when it's that time, we know when it's time, it starts to not be good for us. We start to slack in certain areas because we just know, like, I can figure it. Right? And we don't want that. Okay. So what are you willing to let go, even if it isn't a bad thing? Its time can just be over. That's it. And it's time for new things. So I don't know how long I talked, but that is the portal to expansion. And of course, we can go so much deeper. And I do go deeper in the Enchantress Becoming Mastermind. I would love to see you in there. And I am just so grateful for this time. I'm grateful of the journey that I've been through and continue to go through for my own personal truth. And as I said before, I'm not here for everyone, and I don't want to be here for everyone, and neither should you. And this journey many times is a journey of one, and you meet people along the way. And those people are there to help in their own ways. And to understand that helps with the growth, it helps with the expansion. And to check in with yourself, to remember just how far you have come, because it's easy to forget and it's easy to get stuck by forgetting, because the thought pops up of, well, this is all there is. And it's not. It's so much more. All right. So keep going, walk through that portal of expansion. Okay. Constantly focus on your personal growth. And you don't have to make a grand announcement. Okay. You don't. I used to read hardcover books by taking the cover off. All right. So I am sending you so many blessings, lots of love. I am rooting for you. Remember to be kind to yourself. Do not give up. And please, when opportunity knocks, answer. Answer it. Trust yourself enough to walk through that portal. Many blessings.